morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Lisa Harrison here, and I have a train going past right on time. So, welcome to the Opt-In show for this week. And I'll start by bringing everybody out. We've got Chris in Melbourne.
Hi, everybody. It's an absolutely beautiful, clear, blue, crisp, cool morning here in Melbourne. Sun's up, and I'm feeling fantastic. But I don't have a train going past. And I don't miss that.
It does add to the
ambience.
To the ambience, yes. And we've got Bob over in Pennsylvania.
I'm feeling great, but no such good weather here. We're in the middle of a snowstorm again. We're supposed to get 8 inches tonight, so... Yeah, but other than that, I'm feeling so amazing right now. I really feel good. And welcome, everyone. Glad to be here.
Oh, I'm glad everyone's feeling so amazing so far. Who else have we got? We got Dee.
Hello, everyone. And Bob, you're obviously sending your horrible weather to us. We're only getting 2 inches, but we're getting freezing rain on top of it, just to make it special. But I am feeling stupendously awesome right now, and really looking forward to this show. I want to say hi to everyone. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Dee. Brian.
Well, since we're on the theme of weather here, let's see where we fall. Probably right in the middle here, and a somewhat cloudy day in San Diego, but feeling equally as awesome and very glad and extremely excited to be here. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of giggles on the way.
With you on board, it's guaranteed. Yeah. And we've got Heather with us.
Hi, everyone. All my love.
Well, you may as well give us a weather report. What's going on in Morocco?
I don't know what the weather is. I don't know what day it is. I don't even know what time it is. You guys just call in, and here I am.
So it's been a pretty intense 24 to 48 hours amongst this little group of people, and there has been a new document filed, which I think is going to be the major topic for discussion today. But before we even get into that, I have promised the ground crew I would let you know, those who are behind the Opt-In website, that the whole website is being reworked, revamped, recreated in the background, and it's going to be amazing when it goes live. So there will also be more opportunities for, and it will be a lot easier a process for volunteers. It will be a lot clearer. All the information you'll need will be there, and it's, as I said, it's being worked on in the background, and it should go live sometime this week. So keep your eyes posted on the new website.
Thanks, ground crew. They're awesome, by the way. Quick shout out to the ground crew. They're amazing.
Absolutely, they're doing an amazing job. So a big shout out to Holly and BZ in particular, I think, for their the work they've been putting in. Excuse me.
and to B as well. And Mary. I have to shout out to B and Mary.
Oh, all the translations of the transcripts, and yes, absolutely. Thank you to everybody who's been putting in. And I'll tell you what, Bob made a comment the other day which has to be shared, because I think all of you need to acknowledge and recognise what you've done. You know, Bob said, if somebody came to you and said, I want you to create a worldwide movement that's going to reach millions of people, it's going to involve websites, Facebook pages, social media campaigns, music videos, poetry, stories, blog posts, and you're going to reach millions of people, and you're going to do it within about 4 weeks, and by the way, there's no money. It sounds impossible. It sounds completely impossible, and we did it. Each and every one of you have played a part in it. You've all contributed, whether you've actually written a word or physically done anything. You've done it energetically, at least, and you've done it by sharing and by doing and being. And thank you, because it wouldn't be what it is without each and every one of you doing what you've done. And the reason I believe that it's happened is because each and every one of you, on some level, have been working towards it and playing your part for a very long time. And
Lisa,
you recognized it when it turned up.
That is, I think, one of the most amazing examples that we have of our power. I mean, if any one of you look at where we are right now and all the people who are listening and all the people involved, and we've gotten the world to stand up and take notice. And we did it, and we had, well, at least I did. I can't speak for everybody, but I know the crew that we had fun doing it. We had a really good time. And this is the whole point. You know, if you are putting your trust in filings, if you're putting your trust in any type of organization, if you're putting your trust in some sort of savior, anything external outside of yourself, it's not going to work. But when you look and you see that it's us, it's we, you, that is doing all of this, the whole gambit, the whole, game would not work without you. You are the engine, the power, the source of all of the energy that makes all of this run. And OPPT was basically just a tool for people to help them to see that, I believe. Excuse me. For them to see that within themselves. This is what the whole being and doing is all about. Because what people really didn't see, what they saw on the outside, and we're going to start talking about some of the inner workings when we get into talking about this document, but what the people didn't see on the inside was that it was your energy that they wanted. It's not your house, it's not your car, it's not your money. They've got tons of that. It's not any of those things, but it is your energy. They want control over you so that they can basically milk you of that. To cause you to go into fear so that they can get a latch hold on. And you'll find that for some people, when you are in that space and you know who you are, and look, there is no authority that is, over me that I haven't agreed to, and I'm not going to submit. I'm not going to consent and give my power away. Whether it's to an external organization, it's all within you.
Bob, there was a conversation I had with Chris yesterday, because even though, especially in the last 2 weeks, I think a lot of people have come a long way when it comes to the One People's Public Trust, there are still some, and this is not a judgment by any means, but there are still some who don't get that it's a tool. The One People's Public Trust was, in fact, a tool. And they're very, very focused on the tool. And I said to Chris yesterday, most people have had experience with hammering in a nail into something. And what happens when you focus on the hammer? When you're hammering in a nail, where do you put your eyes? What do you look at? That's not a rhetorical question. You can answer it.
Well, it's the head of the nail.
The head of the nail.
Right. What happens if you focus on the hammer?
You get the thumb.
Exactly.
Big dent in the wood.
What I'm seeing is there are still some people who are so focused on the tool, they don't notice that that the nail is in. It's being driven in, and you're still swinging away. And that's, again, it's not I'm not trying to make a judgment on people. I'm just saying, just take a step back and stop swinging long enough to see that the job is done. The tool has achieved its outcome. And that doesn't mean that we all stop doing what we're doing on the ground. We still have tools to, we've got courtesy notices, we've got things that we can use to address day-to-day situations, but looking at the bigger picture, OPPT has achieved what it set out to achieve. with the paperwork, with the filings. And maybe for some people that's an act of faith to believe that. For others who understand UCC to some degree, I mean, and I have to say to people here, unfortunately, there have been individuals who will not come forward publicly, but they have very privately explained to us that this is legit. This is legal and lawful. That they have knowledge of UCC, they understand how it works, and they get it. But they're not prepared to be public about it, which is very annoying. Just to give those of you who need that little extra confidence to believe in it. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say. The tool has achieved its job. And
if I could just add something to Bob's references to energy for a moment, just before we move on to the next thing, though, because one of the significant things about this whole exercise is the huge amount of energy that came into focus over the last, getting on towards 3 months now, not far off 3 months since the filings went public and all of this came to our attention. Because we've got a couple of people in the background here who work with us, and they actually look at energy. And we've talked about these guys a bit before, call them the energy guys. And their observations have been startlingly accurate all the way through. And one of the things that's been consistently said is that the amount of energy generated, as if you can imagine like a glowing ball of energy, the amount of energy generated by this whole exercise has been huge. And it's not just that it was huge, but that it was of a type. Well, we were told it was of a type that the other guys, the powers that absolutely were, couldn't touch it. It was so pure, they could not use it in the way that they'd been using all of our energy for centuries, for thousands of years. This is ours to manifest with what we want. And this is where we're at now. We're about to go into this final stage of manifesting what it is that we want. And that is so exciting. I can't wait. So,
what I love about this is because it's presented us with something that is, we won't settle for anything less now. You know, I mean, if Heather disappeared tomorrow, if Caleb disappeared tomorrow, and the People's Trust website disappeared tomorrow, it's already built up so much momentum, and people have already come to a place within themselves. Enough people have. I think that there's just no going back now. It's got a life of its own, and we won't settle for less.
It's one of those things where once you're aware of a situation, you can't become unaware of it. You can't just lose that memory and go off in another direction. That's something that you always know. And people who've touched this, no matter how they currently feel about it, will never be able to lose what they've learned.
Well, and also with that, Chris, is that even those people that touched it and might be shying away because they've listened to some other radio show or some other blog saying, don't follow the OPPT movement or what have you, which it's not. It's not a movement. Every single piece of data that helps to wake people up that there's something else that's going on outside of what they see on the news and they see in their day-to-day lives, whether it be the zeitgeist, movement, what Drake puts out, any of these freedom-promoting websites. I mean, we're all on the same. It's a different path up to the top of the hill, but we all share the same mission, which is to wake people up that there's something else going on, and so that's why I give such an honor to all those people that have helped to assist in that process of waking people up. We're all, it's a fight for the same cause across the board.
Well, that's what I wrote about earlier on this week, is regardless of the bickering that happens between one website to another and one movement to another, we're all on the same team. There is only one team. There's only one team. So all the arguing, I said it in an article I wrote earlier, it's like, never mind arguing over who's got the nicer running shoes, just get across the finish line together. That's what it's about. There is no teams, just go together. Away you go.
Yep.
Okay, let's get into this latest document, and I believe it'll be the last document, but I could be wrong. I can always be wrong. I'm always open to that. So, Heather, do you want to talk about this document?
Okay. You all asked, well, essentially, okay, OPPT, with this last document, multiple things are happening in multi-dimensions in this one document. And it is the last filing.
What's it called, and where can people find it?
Well, I'm not sure what it's called. It's just a declaration of absolute truth and a final audit and reconciliation and an order. And the filing number, because I had to redo it a couple times.
By the way, if people want to go to find the link,
document number is 0132035, and Caleb will be posting this. For the link, it will be on the website.
Okay, you can find it at Removing the Shackles.
there you go.
And on American Kabuki.
And an American Kabuki. So OPPT, all is Eternal Essence Debt Release.
Yep.
Okay? So for those of you who are in front of your computers and want to bring it up, you can do that now. What's just happened? Are we still? I just lost audio.
She's redone. Yeah. Can you hear me, Lisa?
I can hear you now. Can you guys hear us in the chat room?
Heather just lost communications.
Yep. Maybe you could just welcome Diva, who's pulled into the discussion here.
Hello, Diva. Can you hear us, Dom?
Hello, Diva.
We've lost a couple.
Heather is back, though, I think.
Yeah, I'm back.
No Diva? Okay. All right. I think they can hear us back.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Let's do this while we've got the connection. So in a sense, with this document, if you read through it, you'll see that the tool of the OPPT has essentially been reconciled. It's finished its job. And there were only two purposes in the last repurpose. And that was to, one, return all the value and all the being, and two, which was done. And then the second one was guarding the space so that everyone could know that the being and the value was returned and practice being. And that has been satisfied. So essentially with today, everything, you guys asked for the financial structure. Well, in order to change the result, you got to change the formula. So with this particular document, you'll see that everything is absolutely in essence. The powers that were, they know fiction, and the CVACs, you know, it was a fiction that was created in order to stop their fiction from moving forward and stomping all over everyone. And I watched for 3 weeks, we all watched for 3 weeks about them trying to move in. They know how to deal with fiction. They know how to commandeer fiction. They know the absolute mechanisms of fiction. What they don't know is being. They don't know how to handle a system. So that's what you have here, and all are eternal essence. And that is your, all value is eternal essence. And so within this structure, it's all about being, and doing is your delivery and transfer mechanisms. And so the actual practical application, the tools, what will be finished and established this week. But your framework for your value system is sitting in that document. Are you guys there?
Yeah. So what I got from that, in terms of practical tools, is that what we don't want to do is go in and create another fictional system, because that can be commandeered, that can be manipulated and controlled. Any form of fiction, and so this has to be done in a way where that just isn't possible.
Right.
And
the former system was fiction, fiat, and fraud.
Yes.
This one is just a simple system of being. And it's all the way of being eternal essence. Everything is wrapped in there. Excuse me?
There's no way to manipulate that.
Well, essentially, all you have to do is declare who you be, and it's up to the other guy to prove that you're not. That's it. And they're going to sound pretty crazy when they come around and try to do that, and they know that. That's why they don't do it. Not only that, but when they do come up, they actually tear down all of their religious systems, because it's all based on eternal essence. Sorry. And the light, the false light worker communities, and I don't mean that anyone out there is a light worker, is false. I'm talking about the phoenix, that the powers that were set up. You will actually already know them, because it's all basically a control mechanism, same as the fraud, fiction, fiat, and fraud system. It's all about control and power. So this one is absolutely, hey, I be eternal essence, and I honor and respect the fact that you are eternal essence. And actually, this document, in the multidimensional sense, went in and made all of Source's universe, all the systems in Source's universe, uniform. So now you have a universal value system for the new data that's coming in and the new experiences that are about to be had.
You want to go into that a little bit, the new experiences?
Not right now. I think maybe we should just get this document where it needs to be as far as in consciousness. I know that if we anchor this, that's actually going to help for preparing when those experiences. And what I would do is I would suggest that tonight we can address in more detail about the experiences that are to come. But essentially, I mean, it's not that hard, okay? If now all of Source's universe in all these existences, known and unknown to all humans, is all uniform, basically what we're saying is it's all set and prepped for everyone to start traveling and experiencing things you've never experienced before.
Well, that is exciting. Now, Heather, do you want to actually go through? This isn't a long document, and we do have time. And we could actually read through this and discuss it a little bit, just to make sure people are clear on what it's trying to express for those that aren't necessarily used to looking at things written like this. And I might suggest that we get Guru Bob to actually, read out some of this, if you wish.
Whatever you choose.
Sure.
Sure, Bob. I think we can probably jump to the number one, because the introduction is fairly standard in terms of the UCC filing. So if we just start to 1, which begins, I duly verify by declaration of absolute truth that.
Actually, Chris and Bob,
yep.
There is one thing that has changed. Up above is usually your all rights reserved without prejudice, and then mentions of perpetuity. At this point, it's been disclosed that the perpetuity, which is under eternal essence, the perpetuity is also a record of absolute. The record of absolute is including Akashic records, all records known and unknown to the human race.
Okay. Well, That's actually quite a significant point, because what Heather's talking about, folks, is this is the absolute return to the absolute. This is a system completely without hierarchy that simply consists of beings doing. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we have now pointed out that the perpetuity is literally absolute truth and the essence is bringing it all together. So there's no separation between any of the concepts or structures in our entire existence, which is a pretty grand sweeping statement. So,
right.
Thank you for that.
And then the second part is that document number that's 2012132883, duly verified and reconfirmed, is just the filing where the universal contracts were certified as completed. Okay?
Yes. Which, for those who haven't yet read it, was the December 10th or 12th filing, which you will also find on Removing the Shackles and American Kabuki and Quilo Pili. But don't rush off and read those now. Read that later if you haven't read it before. So is that enough for the introduction, Heather?
That's enough. Now you can go to the meat of it, but those are the differences.
Yes. No, that's very good. Thank you. Okay, Bob, just kick off from 1.
Okay. Wait, I had to unmute.
Always good.
1. I duly verify by declaration of absolute truth that A, eternal essence is unrebutted. B, all value that is eternal essence, unrebutted. C, all that is embodied is eternal essence, unrebutted. D, all that is eternal essence, unrebutted.
E.
Okay, yeah, it was cut off. E, eternal essence's universe is eternal essence, unrebutted. F, any and all existence that are eternal essence's universe, unrebutted. G, all records be eternal essence, unrebutted. H, eternal essence is absolute light, unrebutted. I, eternal essence is absolute love, unrebutted. J, eternal essence is absolute truth, unrebutted. K, eternal essence is absolute. L, in absolute gratitude with absolute love and peace, eternal essence embodied does consciously and lovingly duly declare with full responsibility and liability the memory, experience, and knowing of absolute truth, eternal essence, unrebutted. M, in absolute gratitude with absolute love and peace, eternal essence embodied does consciously and lovingly duly declare with full responsibility and liability the memory and knowing of absolute truth, eternal essence embodied in each and all manifestations, in any and all existences of eternal essence's universe, unrebutted. 2. I duly verify with full responsibility and liability by declaration of absolute audit and reconciliation that all that is has been fully audited and reconciled into absolute eternal essence, inclusive of all trusts, systems, networks, regimes, hierarchies, and any and all other limits, unrebutted. 3. I duly verify with full responsibility and liability by declaration of order that all that is knows absolute truth and the record of absolute truth, eternal essence at the speed of heart, unrebutted. 4. I duly verify with full responsibility and liability by declaration. Now, that document is cut off in the one that I'm reading.
Do you want me to pick up on 4?
Yeah, Brian.
Brian,
right.
Pick up on 4.
4. I duly verify with full responsibility and liability by declaration of order that all that is experiences absolute truth, eternal essence at the speed of doing, unrebutted. 5. I duly verify with full responsibility and liability by declaration of order that eternal essence is made transparent and known by the doing of any and all embodiment of eternal essence in eternal essence's universe unrebutted. 6. I duly verify with full responsibility and liability by declaration of order that eternal essence is made transparent and known by the doing of any and all embodiment of eternal essence in eternal essence's universe are free and free of debt, unrebutted. So it is done, unrebutted.
Wow.
And in the current version, which will be posted, it says these orders are prepaid, pre-authorized, and pre-approved. So it is done, unrebutted, and it's duly verified.
Okay, you might want to repeat that, Heather.
Because you just jumped off a little bit.
I was saying after number 6, it says these orders are prepaid, pre-authorized, and
It's C-3PO in the bath again.
She sounds a little bit like Q-Bert. If anybody remembers Q-Bert.
She's still talking.
Yeah, she doesn't know we can't hear.
I think. Yeah, look, the point here is that there was a couple of updates to the document, and the final versions are either on or will very shortly be on American Kabuki and Removing the Shackles. And Heather was trying to give us a last little bit of detail on the extra bit that's in there.
I actually have that extra bit real quick, Chris, because she put it in the chat before. And,
sure.
She added, well, the change was from 2012 to 2013. The date was off, but it's changed to these orders are prepaid, pre-authorized, and pre-approved. So it is done, unrebutted.
Yes, excellent. Now, there's an awful lot of concepts in here that some of the people listening may not have actually run across. And if we can literally go back to where Bob started reading, which begins, I duly verify by declaration of absolute truth that A through M are actually verifying that we are all the one thing in this reality, that we are all of the Creator, and that there is nothing that isn't of the Creator. And as you work through it, and we'll get Bob and Lisa and others to comment on this on the way through, eternal essence is. Now, eternal essence is that which is the Creator. And B, all value that is eternal essence. Because if the eternal essence is all, then all value is part of that. And as in C, anything that's embodied is part of that. Mm-hmm. And D simply restates it. All that is eternal essence, unrebutted. And eternal essence as universe is eternal essence. It's a restatement of the same thing, just to drive it absolutely home that we are all part of the one thing, this universe. Any and all existences that are eternally essence's universe, unrebutted. And if you can, we're crossing T's and dotting I's all the way down this list. And then we go down to G, all records be eternal essence, because they are part of this one thing. And the other thing that's part of this is light, which is H, and love, which is I, and absolute truth, which is J, and final, if you like, the final full stop on the sentence, eternal essence is absolute. And this is the one thing that we need to really emphasize today, is that the system that we're heading into is an absolute system. It's not one we're used to or have been in before. We've got a lot of learning to do. And first message we need to get is that it is absolute, and it's shared with our galactic families. And that's one of the reasons. One of the reasons we will be able to, in the future, have a closer tie to those folks. Now, does anyone on the panel want to talk about ADK?
Yep, no, I just want to actually make a comment about the chat room. We've got extremes going on. We've got, people absolutely going, this is amazing, I get it, I love it, thank you, And then there's a couple of others with, yeah, but where's the money?
Yeah,
Show
that's okay.
me the money.
That's okay.
Show me the money.
Okay, what I get the message for you guys is it's not going to be of a form that you might have expected. It's actually going to be better. So for those people who don't quite get where their money is yet, just watch this space, okay? Anyone on the panel want to talk about A through K? I mean, it's simple, but, the concepts are abstract.
Actually, Chris, I would like to just clarify something. In L and M.
Oh, I haven't got to them yet.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify what you had said before. It's not a matter of dotting I's and crossing T's. It's a matter of you have to recognize the eternal essence within you before you can recognize the eternal essence in anyone else. Same as you have to love yourself before you can love anyone else. And then at the other point is you preserve what's within you by recognizing and honoring the same in another. So just in case you lose me, I want to make sure this was stated.
That's very clear to me. Thank you, Heather. Panel, did any of you want to comment on A through K before we move on?
Well,
go ahead, Bob.
Right.
Oh, I was just going to say my take on it is, it's just you kind of already mentioned it, Chris. Is that it's all encompassing. It's kind of like the I am presence. It's that everything is eternal essence, and each letter here is just reinforcing that it covers the whole universe. So, I mean, when I read it, I had to read this thing. I printed it out. That's why I could pick up right where Bob left off, because I printed it out and I didn't only read it, but I read it like out loud, almost like my neighbors might have heard me kind of out loud. And it's kind of like some of the other documents. The more you read it, the more it makes sense, the more it adds up. But that was my takeaway, at least from that part.
Sure. Bob?
I was just going to say, it means that everything is on an equal keel. We're all part of the same thing. E equals MC squared. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. Intelligent, conscious energy. Everything. And so there's no, as matter of hierarchy, who's in charge? Well, everything's all the same thing. Everything's all the one thing. So we're all in charge. This is a reconciliation of ourselves. Reclaiming back ourselves, our own being, and recognizing that our being is in everything. It's in everything. If you want to liken it to in quantum physics, a particle can be in many places at one time. We are one particle sharing that particle trillions and gazillions, however many zeros you want to put after that, over and over and over again, everywhere. Literally, we are one thing. And when you think about that, that's the equivalent to every cell in your body suddenly recognizing Bob, or recognizing Lisa. Yes, we're all part of Lisa. This is each of us recognizing that we're part of the universe. And it may have seemed like something obvious, but sometimes the obvious things escape us. And this is how deep we were asleep. It may seem obvious right now, but this is an awakening to a realization that there is no authority higher than that which is everything, and you're included in that.
Thank you, Bob. That was very, very accurate. But look, let's press on to the next three paragraphs, because next two paragraphs, because the one following that is a key one that we do need to discuss in a bit more detail. So if you go back now to L and read out L and M, of this section 1.
Is that me or Brian? Okay.
Oh, no, you've done it.
I have it. If you don't
have it?
Brian.
Okay, Brian. No, take it away, Brian. You're doing fine.
Okay. L. In absolute gratitude, with absolute love and peace, eternal essence embodied does consciously and lovingly duly declare, with full responsibility and liability, the memory, experience, and knowing of absolute truth, eternal essence, unrebutted. M. In absolute gratitude, with absolute love and peace, eternal essence embodied does consciously and lovingly duly declare, with full responsibility and liability, the memory and knowing of absolute truth, eternal essence embodied in each and all manifestations and any and all existences of eternal essence's universe, unrebutted.
Okay. L and M are there's a big overlap between these two. In the first, the eternal essence, the creator of the all, is declaring the memory, experience, and knowing of absolute truth, unrebutted. That we will actually have this, and that's in our future, and essentially restates it in a slightly different way, that eternal essence embodied does consciously and lovingly duly declare the memory and knowing of absolute truth. Eternal essence, eternal essence embodied in each and all manifestations in any and all existences of eternal essence's universe, extending it out not just to us, but the absolute truth that's to come to us is actually to come to all in Creator's universe. It's actually a flow of information in all directions. So the memory, the remembering, is something that will happen not just to us, but to all the Creator's manifestations. Is that what you get from this, Bob?
Yeah, basically that, all knowledge is eternal essence. There is basically, it's the end of all secrets.
That's a good way of putting it.
It's the end of all secrets. There's no more secrets. That whole system of secrecy, is replaced by transparency. So anything that is known, or has been experienced is open for anyone. There's none of these top secret documents or anything that's available. It's all available.
And again, because this is actually extended out through Creator's universe, it's essentially re-establishing us as having been held separate from that for so long. It's re-establishing us as part of the all, as part of the rest of the universe, connected to all the civilizations out there by this absolute truth and knowing. So it's an interesting one to think about. Now, let's start on section 2, Bob. Have you got a clear copy on number 2, Bob?
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the actual UCC files. Maybe I can pull up the other document.
Yeah, it's a little easier to read from.
At the bottom of the page, they're all...
If you want to pull it up, Bob, I can do 2, and then you can take over.
Yeah, Brian, you press on with 2. You're reading well.
I duly verify with full responsibility and liability by declaration of absolute audit and reconciliation that all that is has been fully audited and reconciled into absolute eternal essence, inclusive of all trusts, systems, networks, regimes, hierarchies, and any and all other limits. Unrebutted.
Okay, that's very significant. It's a big one. Now, I'd like Heather to actually speak to that, because we're back to talking about the tool again, and its place and its retirement, as it were.
Well, essentially, when you have completed your purpose, your mission, it's time to either repurpose or retire it. And so in this particular document, it recognizes that. So all trusts, and those are known and unknown trusts, Sometimes we hear about them, the supposed Kingdom Trust and Saint Germain Trust and all of the trusts. Well, those were all supposedly value from source at some point or another. It all goes right back to source. It can be traced all the way back. So all those trusts were reconciled, audited and reconciled. All the systems, networks, regimes, hierarchies, any and all other limits that you could think of, known and unknown, were just all retired back into eternal essence, because that's where they emanate from.
Yep, and that includes the OPPT, of course.
Yes, it does.
The only way we can get back to absolute is to reconcile all trusts.
Yeah,
Heather,
OPPT is retired. Yeah.
Heather, can I? Someone's asking in the chat for you to clarify repurposed. Does it mean die? And the answer is no.
Well, I used the word repurposed in sense of the trust, because I knew that everyone was really focused on the OPPT. And a trust in traditional sense, legal sense from the former systems, that's what they would say. You either repurpose a trust, you give it a new purpose. If it completed its other purpose, you have to give it a new one. Or you just close it, you retire it. You empty it out and you retire it. Well, there was nothing in OPPT. We had already returned everything. The only thing that it was doing at that point was guarding the space for all of you. But you're all doing and being so beautifully. There's no more purpose for the OPPT tool. It's completed.
Yep. Now, one of the, I guess, the questions that will spring from this, Heather, is what becomes of the UCC as well.
Well, the commercial registry, which UCC is a part of, but the commercial registry, everyone knows it down here as, essentially just a commercial registry, but it goes all the way up the slavery systems of all the powers that were in all their dimensions. And you'll be able to see with this absolute data that's coming is that it is actually a universal. It was a universal system, it was a universal power that were, it was a universal harvesting tool and a recording tool. Well, in absolute truth, the commercial registries are part of records, absolute records. So the UCC still exists, but it exists now recalibrated with all records, not one. So it's just reconciled back into eternal essence. It's not operational anymore. It's just a matter of archive.
Okay, so which of course means that it's now cleared this entire planet of any form of structural control, any form of hierarchy has been completely cleared off this planet. That was the very last thing to go, I presume.
Yeah.
Which, folks, that just leaves us and what we do and be. That is a very big and important paragraph. Let's press on and finish the last four paragraphs while we're thinking about number 2. Brian, do you want to start on number 3?
Sure. Okay, 3. I duly verify with full responsibility and liability by declaration of order that all that is knows absolute truth and the record of absolute truth, eternal essence, at the speed of heart, unrebutted. 4. I duly verify with full responsibility and liability by declaration of order that all that is experiences absolute truth, eternal essence, at the speed of doing, unrebutted. 5. I duly verify with full responsibility and liability by declaration of order that eternal essence is made transparent and known by the doing of any and all embodiment of eternal essence and eternal essence's universe, unrebutted. And 6, I duly verify with full responsibility and liability by declaration of order that eternal essence is made transparent and known by the doing of any and all embodiment of eternal essence and eternal essence's universe are free and free of debt, unrebutted.
Okay, it's all kind of wow. Now, number 3, I duly verify with full responsibility and liability by declaration of order, etc., that all that is knows absolute truth, and the record of absolute truth, eternal essence at the speed of heart, unrebutted. The eternal, what they're saying here is eternal essence is absolute truth.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's important, Chris, first for everyone to have absolute truth. It's all within them, and that's sort of how you build everything up, and it's unrebuttable. Everything's protected in eternal essence, because all is eternal essence. So those records can be known at the speed of heart. And as far as experiencing eternal essence, that you are eternal essence, is all done at the speed of doing. That's what 3 and 4 are really about. Knowing absolute truth, of being eternal essence, and then experiencing that absolute truth of eternal essence. One's at the speed of heart, so that you know immediately what you have to work with, and the other one is experiencing it at the speed of doing. So you get to choose whatever pace you want to do at, and what you're comfortable with, or what your desire and drive is to do.
Thank you, Heather.
You want to actually open up
the aspect of transparency. Sorry, Lisa, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, do you want to actually open up the lines to the questions and get the questions from the people on this?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, look, it may as well, because 5 and 6 are speak to the transparency of being and doing, which is inherently part of being absolute. You can't be absolute and stay absolute without absolute transparency. I think that's clear.
You know, number 5, Chris,
mm-hmm.
Number 5, when it was written, what I got images were of the systems, the actual focus of transferring from limiting and inhibiting all that is to systems and operations that actually increase the knowledge and the experience, opportunities of experience of eternal essence. So now you're going to have health systems that really focus on eternal essence shining from within out, instead of packing whatever you want into that embodiment as the former systems did. So that's what 5 really is about, is how things are going to operate. It's a very loose structure, as you can see, and it's only, 1/10 long.
Mm-hmm.
What I do for others, I'm actually increasing my own value, and I'm increasing the opportunity to magnetically draw value to me, but I'm also assisting the others by assisting them to empower, that I empower, they are empowerment. So I just wanted to make sure that 5 was, at least you guys had an introduction into what 5 is really about.
Any comments you want to make on 6?
6, eternal essence. The way it actually is written is that eternal essence is known by the doing of any and all embodiment of all eternal essence in eternal essence's universe. This is another preparation for essentially from here to heaven, all the cosmos, the universe that everyone's about to experience. And that eternal essence is free. And it's free of death. And you are eternal essence, he's eternal essence, all the eternal essence and sources universe. So, you are the value. Everything is the value. So it's free, and it's free of any kind of debt. There's no such thing as a debt system.
Yeah.
And I would like to just clarify regarding these posts, the release of debt. Until someone can show that a loan was made, there is no debt. So I'd really like to focus on not calling things a debt release when there is no debt. Focus on abundance. Focus on energy, and the fact that energy always is, it never ceases to exist, and it's never created. It just manifests and remanifests. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I have a feeling all of these callers are going to have questions for you, Heather, so let's get to them.
Indeed.
We've got area code 773.
Hi, this is Carlos again from Los Angeles.
Hello, Carlos.
Absolute gratitude to all of you. Thank you. And I have a quick question for Heather. You've been speaking about the wizards behind the curtain, and my question is, are all those wizards behind the curtain the ones resisting the change, or they giving up the control, or there's a mix? Are they two factions?
I have no focus on the wizards behind the curtain anymore. It's all irrelevant. Right now, it's just a system of being that, there are people who were in control that would really like to keep that control, but at this moment, they know that it's all there. And their last plan to implement, which should have been today, according to their strategy, didn't happen. And they know why. And so it really is irrelevant at this point. We can go all day long, but it doesn't matter. This document, that's why it's written the way it is. It now renders the perception of powers that were irrelevant.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I guess from now on, we need to be thinking more in the implementation of creating. So, and I guess one of the hardest part is going to be getting rid of the money, either that or replace it with something else. So, an idea will be probably like set up a web server, and whoever wants to create something, I guess, manifest it there or request it there, and then people will line up to either help or comment or, just an idea. And that's it. Thank you very
Carlos,
much.
everyone should be thinking right now, just remember, everyone's database is about to expand here exponentially and perpetually. There's going to be data that has never been fathomed by most now available to everyone. So what I would say is keep your heart open, keep your mind open, no expectations, and just look around at everything that you're presented with and see what resonates within. And pretty soon your ideas that are going to be popping in your heart and working with your head so that it all manifests. We never even fathomed before. So just keep no expectations. And yes, all the tools this week, I said that the framework would be done, by this next call that we're having right now, and that this week that's happening as we speak would be where all the tools are brought in, local, non-local. This is a huge cooperation throughout Sources Universe for the next week to 2 weeks. Okay?
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, all of you.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thanks, Carlos.
I just wanted to remind the people listening in the chat who are asking, where is the money, to emphasize yet again, it's not going to be exactly what we're used to. And if you listen carefully to what Heather just said, you'll have an indication of exactly what's going to happen, which, from my point of view, is exciting. Exciting. There's a lot of adjectives I'd like to use, but it's radio.
I just want all the chat room to know I love you guys. No matter what you have to say, you're all amazing, and I'm watching you right now.
Mm-hmm. Just take note of this moment, folks, because probably next week your perspective will be quite different.
I'm going to send a big heart to everyone right now. There you go.
This focus on money, it reminds me of my young nephew. He can flip through channels faster than anybody that I've ever seen. If he sees any skin, instantly he'll stop. Instantly stop and focus on whatever skin is showing on the screen. And this is what I mean, people, they miss we're about to release all the secrets of the universe and all the, information that's been kept secret from you, all of the technology that's been kept secret from you, and everybody's going, so where's the money?
Okay. Well, not everybody. There's some are.
They're mostly
that's just where they're at the moment.
Yeah. And look, this is not again about judgment. There's it's just that people's focus has been elsewhere. And that's why I'm saying take your focus off the hammer and have a look and see that the nail has already been hammered in.
Exactly.
That's all.
Check you've still got all your fingers and thumbs.
Yeah. Okay, area code 818. Area code 818?
Hello, yes.
Yes.
Love, light, and blessings to you all.
And to you. What's your name?
I'm Dan from L.A.
Hey, Dan from L.A.
How's it going?
It's good.
With this new filing, is this kind of in line with the precession of the equinoxing and equinox and the ascension and just the opening of the Akashic and eternal records?
Like I said, I don't even know what day it is or what time it is. As far as equinoxes, I've never really been into the astrology part. All I know is what I'm moved to do, when I'm moved to do it. This is the, I guess, timing that has come down, but you guys all asked for a system of value, and here we are. So as far as synchronicities and coincidences, no, there's no coincidences. Synchronicity, absolutely. So, but there's been no planned intent. Okay, we got you. It's not we don't follow the harvesting tools like they do. However, we are pretty good at reversing the harvesting tools. Does that answer your question?
Yes. But then I also have a question on reality because I had a jury summons from the court, and I sent them my 3 courtesy notices, and they said that that's not good enough, and I still have to go to court by April 2nd.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to you go to the mafia and you tell the mafia, hey, here's my courtesy notices. You guys are all canceled. You're all legal and lawful. And they say, sorry, buddy, we're legal, we're lawful, and you still got to come on down to the office. I mean, what do you expect from them?
Yeah.
Go to the mafia and ask for permission? Is that what you're asking?
Well, should I invoice them and then just kind of what's my next step? Should I just wait for them to try to give me a fine or try to put me in jail?
No, absolutely. You should invoice them as individuals because that's the circumstances they're currently in, whether they will acknowledge it or not. And when you do that, what you're doing is standing your ground in that space.
And if they don't give you a name, go ahead and invoice the office because they have internal records of who's working, who is working there, and they have extreme record keeping of who's on the phone at what time, whose number was calling this number. So just invoice the person if you have the individual if you have the individual, or invoice the office, and then the records will all be audited anyway. So.
Okay. Yeah.
And don't forget to just follow up if they don't pay in the time that you've decided they should pay you by. Send them a statement, a reminder, and if they send you any more paper, invoice them again and charge them additionally for that extra piece of paper.
So what if they fine me? What if they go right and then we're just invoicing and fining each other back and forth?
Mm-hmm.
They don't invoice. They only send statements, and statements aren't collectible. And if they invoice you, it's a fraudulent invoice to begin with because there's no underwriting to that invoice.
Okay.
There you have it.
So just keep doing, because everything is shifting right now, and you'll see where all of that being in doing where it seems like it's just you and it doesn't really matter, one man, one woman can't make a difference, you'll see very soon here, it's already happening, but what I'm saying is you'll understand it in absolute context
I just got
of what that means.
I just got a phone call from my brother. He wants to give an update of what's happening to some of the powers that were that he just seen on the news. Do you mind if I bring him in?
Yeah, just ask him to keep it brief because we've got a lot of people on the line.
Okay.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Let's see. Where did I put him? There we go. I think your mic is open now, Bev.
Is it open?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I'm listening to what's being said here, and it's quite interesting. Heather, I don't know what you were waiting to happen for today. Can you help enlighten me? Because I didn't get to see the beginning of the show.
Now, we didn't talk about expecting any events today. We haven't talked about it.
Okay. Well, I don't regularly watch the news. I've gotten away from TV predominantly. But for some reason, I just turned it on today. And over in Cyprus, the little island of Cyprus, the government literally, the government's literally started to, the powers that be were foreclosing on the government of Cyprus. And the government of Cyprus decided to withdraw from everybody's saving, checking, or whatever account they had to pay off the debt, which created a mass hysteria on that island where everybody was rushing to the banks and trying to grab what other monies that they thought they had in there, to come to find out that they could not get a dime. So there is...
Well, you got to know what Cyprus is. Cyprus is like one of the largest money laundering facilities for the powers that were. All the trading programs, all your secret squirrel agencies, they all have their accounts there.
Exactly. Now, what was stated on the news was now that this has happened on this little island, it's going to affect the whole entire world's financial markets, and the fears that they have are that every government now dealing with bailout money and those who are in those countries will face the same outcome, what was stated on the news earlier this evening. So there is a definite shift that is occurring. We are witnessing it. This is something that is not an idle thing. There is definite things transitioning away from the actual money factor. And I don't believe there will be an existence of money in the very near future. There will be other ways of living. So, yeah, those things are actually occurring right now. And I just sat there, I was like, now this is interesting. And there is no such thing as coincidences. It was not a coincidence that I just turned on the TV at that time, and that's exactly what they were talking about. Because my brother and I were having a conversation earlier today during the daylight hours about certain things, and about myself and him, and all the things that we've been seeing transitioning through the beginning of this group, and beforehand, when me and him came into our consciousness. So, yeah, there are a lot of people who are listening in. Things are definitely affecting every section of this planet, dealing with that aspect of slavery and control.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bevan.
That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thanks, man. Okay, we're going to go to the next caller. So what you just said then, though, Heather, is that Cyprus is actually, what did you call it? Not a clearinghouse.
Money laundering.
It's one of the large money laundering facilities. You know, Haiti was another, and Morocco's been, unfortunately, in the past as well. I mean, there's a lot of them, but Cyprus, for at least the last 4 or 5 years, well, actually more than that, just in the last 4 or 5 years has been where all the money laundering is going on, all the drug programs, all of the trade programs.
So do you think that's a sign? It's a sign that, as we've talked about over the last weeks, that what do you call it? The spigot's been turned off, so that they're not actually. They don't have access to any more energy, so they've turned around and raided the bank accounts of all the residents in Cyprus because they're that desperate.
No, what I would say is that you have, first off, you have to remember you have corporations operating under the guise of government that have been shut down. Okay, so you have these principals that are just trying to figure out where they're going to get the energy. And at this point, they've lost all their structures, so they've got to figure out a way to pay people to go in and try to control the situation, or at least that was the thought. Now it's just over. It's all over. And as far as Cyprus going in, you got to ask the question, who's really going in for what? Because nobody is who they say they are regarding anything having to do with Cyprus.
Yeah, right. I'm sure that we can all be sure of. Okay, I've got someone online called Where You App. There's no area code. It's Where You App.
Oh, hi there. I'm just listening, actually.
Okay. What was your name?
Rogier from Holland. But I really like the, let's say, the eternal essence part in these documents and where it's all heading. So, big up for all that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Okay, we've got area code 562. Area code 562? Area code 562, you've put your hand up. Okay, we will move on. Area code 612. Area code 612.
Hello, this is Donna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Donna.
Hi, I'm from Minnesota, and I'd love to get together with some other people in Minnesota. I think Seraph is from here up near the Twin Cities. So I'm going to put something in Dee's forum about that. But tonight I'd like to ask, and first off, I'd like to say thank you to everyone for all the being and doing. And I guess what I was wondering to ask Heather is, I read the POOF statement or the POOF report yesterday, and they were talking about the Wanta-Midderan protocols and some of the RV information. Are they attempting to reboot the old system again? And that was my first question. My second question is, spent time today in a courthouse, and just wondering when will the people step down? When will it filter down to the common workers that their system no longer exists? So with that, I'll say thank you and just listen.
Thank you, Donna.
Thanks, Donna.
Oh, we've actually lost her for the moment. I hope she heard those questions. We're trying to get it back in. So first thing was, if you're was it Minnesota? Go to Dee's Removing the Shackles forum and connect with Donna. She'd love to meet up with people in her area. So that was the first part, and we don't have Heather. We've lost her. So what was the second part of that question?
Oh, it was in regards to the update that Poof gave yesterday, which Heather actually, we talked about that yesterday, and she's probably the one that could best give an answer to that. It looks like Dee's trying to...
Sorry, what was the question?
The question was in regards to the update Poof gave yesterday regarding the RVs and the Reagan-Midderan protocols and all that stuff that he updated.
Yeah, are they trying to reboot the system?
They've been trying to do that.
Yeah, that was their panic mode plan, that they were just going to go through with it, what the hell. And then there was the major decision and order giving last night, and everything was yanked. And It's been going yo-yoing like that since at least January 17th, at least, regarding the universal aspect.
Okay, we have got
because for me it is just irrelevant now, especially with last night and today's particular. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Here.
Okay, I think she's typing it in.
Okay, so all my love to Poof.
Okay, we're not getting you, Heather. I don't know if you can hear me, but we're not getting it. Maybe you can type the answer in. You back?
Heather, try standing in the garage. Sometimes that works.
Yep, I got you back now.
Well, while we're waiting for that, Dee, do you have any snippets from RV World?
There.
Given that's something you monitor?
It's exactly what Heather said. There she is.
Here she comes.
They're still trying to pull this off, and how many times have you heard that it's coming out in the next 24 hours?
I've lost count. I mean, literally, everyone I know of the highly placed people that I know, the people who are not, gurus, who actually know, they're just scratching their heads. Because, again, this morning they were like, oh, look, no RV. No idea why. And I just sit there giggling behind my hand going, I do, but you're not going to listen, so.
But aren't they have to start asking questions by now. I mean, for some of them it's been going on for years that they've been getting told it's coming in the next 24 or 72 hours.
Well, might as well read Heather's comment in the chat.
Sorry, what was that, Brian?
Might as well read Heather's comment that she just put in the chat.
My love is Poof, but it's all irrelevant now. Exactly. Heather talked about it, I've talked about it before too. They're doing everything they can. They've tried all these different things, and it doesn't go through. And it gets to the point where, like I said, even these guys, some of the ones that I talk to, are just stomping their feet and scratching their head, because since December 5th, it's been supposedly going through, 72 hours notice, or no, and then next week it's okay, we're 24 hours, within the next 24 hours, and then, a week and a half after that, no, 72 hours from now, absolutely for sure. And they can't put it through. And I have to giggle because the same thing, over the weekend, I was given the whole, it is absolutely, pound the desk when you say it, absolutely happening. And then it doesn't happen.
What's your theory, Dee? Why doesn't it happen? Because they just have no value to offer?
Well, number one is yes, I'm going to say this, and I mean, this is me putting pieces together from various people that I speak to. One of the main things they've been relying on is the St. Germain Trust. And they can't get their greedy little dirty hands on it. Because the real St. Germain isn't giving it to them. So this is the kind of like the fundamental ground thing, is they always assumed, I think, that they would be able to snafu this massive chunk of money as a way of propping up their new financial system. And they're not getting the money. And I mean, they have siphoned off some money. They've sent out.
He's not giving it to them because he understands the consequences energetically.
Yeah, basically. So he's not giving it.
You got to remember. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dee.
Well, I was just saying is that, they've tried everything. And it'd make a great soap opera, some of the stories that have come out in the last 4 or 5 months about what they've tried to do to get this money. They've even taken some of it, like through fraud. They've actually fraudulently got some of it and set up a Saint Germain Foundation now, but it's still not working. And I think that's the whole thing, is they keep pushing, and they can't make it go. And the wizards behind the curtain, you know, the in air quotes, holier than thou guys who are making all these shots, they know why it's not going, but they're not going to tell their underlings to, you know, in the military and in the governments, et cetera, as to why it's not going. So they're left scratching their heads.
You got to remember where Poof gets his info from, too. I mean, I know firsthand because of that consultation that I had with him. And it's coming from the Dragons. And when we got asked to pull my interview that I did, my consultation, off of the American Kabuki blog, that's what exposed the General Wong. And that's the general that Heather is talking about in the Skype right now. So it's just all these guys that are trying to distract at this point. And it might be working for some, but but it doesn't matter. I mean, the word of the day on so many different levels and topics is, with a capital I, irrelevant.
Yep.
It's absolutely irrelevant at this point.
Yep, it is. It is. I mean, it's relevant in the fact of you stand back and you watch it, and like I said, I giggled my ass off for the last 2 weeks, listening to the various intel and watching what's going on. It makes for real funny stuff. But at the same time, you know, like, for example, you talk about Poof and the Dragons, there is this huge faction of people out there, even in the light worker community especially, and also, of course, in the Dinar community, who are like, oh, you know, the Dragon family are doing this out of humanitarian, wonderful ideologies, I don't know. And they aren't. And, you know, but this is about to become very clear to them. This is it. Because now we're talking absolute data, absolute truth. And it's
I'll just
to
read
me,
out, I was just going to read out that paragraph number 2 again, just to remind us all, which says, by declaration of absolute audit and reconciliation, that all that is has been fully audited and reconciled into absolute eternal essence, inclusive of all trusts, systems, networks, regimes, hierarchies, and any and all other limits. Is there anything that's not covered?
No.
No. So, irrelevant.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. It's exactly it. And the greatest part of it is like I've said, everyone's going to see it. Everyone's going to have that opportunity to actually see just how irrelevant it is very, very soon. And Lisa, just so you know, area code 209.
209. Yeah, I'm looking for it now.
I was going to say, it's AK, and you've got Heather.
Okay, Bill, is that you?
Yeah.
Ah, lovely. And
Heather?
Have you got Heather with you?
Yes, Heather's here.
Okay.
Piggybacking.
Piggybacking? All right, lovely. We will take 1 or 2 more calls, and then people would love to hear some information in regards to what to expect over the next, week or so.
Okay.
Bring out area code 562. Area code 562. No? Okay, moving on. Area code 612.
12. Calm. Hello.
Hello. Yes,
oh, hi.
can hear you.
Yes,
Hi,
I'm
what's your name?
It's Elizabeth. I'll be really quick.
Okay.
I'm singing to myself, calm, relax. I am so excited. I'm about ready to unzip unzip and jump out of my body. Okay,
another
guys.
We got another giggler. I love you, Lindsay.
Yeah, we have another giggler. Giggler alert.
I have two awesome questions for you, Heather. Let me just here's a second witness to what you say in the next 2 weeks. This is two sentences. I would like you to comment on this. And this was just posted today. It's called a call to arms. It is imperative that we secure the timeline of light over the next 2 weeks, March 26th to 27th to April 6th, 7th. Use the Akashic records of the new paradigm and manifest a united global front of peace, love, and light. By creating this unified spiritual front, it will stimulate the ascension process of light beings worldwide. You will know that the timeline is secured during this jump window by the ousting of the Illuminati and their doings. And that's by Blessings of Strength and Unity, the Elders of Light, the Akashic Records of the New Paradigm, by Brandy and Gail. Do you have any comments on that, Heather?
I would just say that don't have any expectations or limits and make it just a global thing. This is all universal. So it's just don't have any expectations because it's going to be way beyond what you think and what you know.
Thank you. And then this kind of goes with that. On M you wrote on this document that you put in today, correct? Today?
Yeah.
Number M says in absolute gratitude with absolute love and peace, eternal essence embodied does consciously and lovingly duly declare with full responsibility and liability the memory and knowing of absolute truth, eternal essence embodied in each and all manifestations in any and all existence of eternal essence, a universe unrebutted. Does that mean disclosures here? Does that mean disclosure in ourselves and on TV? Does that mean that? Or
if everybody has it within themselves, do we need it on TV?
Don't give limits. Don't give expectations. Just it's all going to be within for sure. And then as far as disclosures, yes, it's disclosures, though, that you couldn't even fathom. Those that you've been expecting, but even those that you weren't even conscious of.
Wow, glory. Oh, I'm excited. I'm going to jump out of my body now. But thank you, Heather. And so, yes, I agree. Limitless. Let's desire limitlessness, correct? Because that's what we are. And then, and then I just want to say, Donna and Seraph, I'm in Minnesota too, right? I can see the big high rises right a mile away from me. So let's get together. Let's meet up, Seraph and Donna. I'll go to Dee's forum too.
Hey,
and then,
I was going to say, now that you mentioned Seraph, because it is his birthday today, happy birthday shout out to my man Seraph. I don't know, he's probably not on the call, but had to throw that out there.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
He's listening.
Happy birthday to Sarah.
Happy birthday, Sarah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And just one more quick thing. If anybody's still kind of not understanding a lot about how we are individually the value and together we're the value, and money's energy and we're energy and everything's energy. It explains it really good on David Wilcock's Financial Tyranny. Not that one, but it's the Russian documentary the Russians put out, 2 hours of financial tyranny. And that's posted on American Kabuki, DivineCosmos.com, and it may be on Removing the Shackles. But it's the Russian documentary. It's a 2 hour long, talking about the financial tyranny, the bad boys, and how they had their treasonous systems. But within that, they interweaved they explain how we are the value, how money is energy, we're energy, and what all we talk about here. So if you want to understand that more, listen to that. It's in Russian, but you can read it. Somebody put it in English, what you can read as you listen to it. So that's all. Love you guys. I'll see you on the other side, huh? Limitlessness.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Love you too.
Okay, area code 657. Area code 657, who?
Hello?
Sounds like they're... Yes. What was your name? Hello?
Yeah, Heather's here, sorry.
Okay, I'm going to mute you again because not hearing anything from you, and it was really noisy. So, area code 910. Area code 910? Yes. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. What's your name?
Bruce.
Hey, Bruce.
Hi, Bruce. Kind of shocked me answering. I got a question for Heather.
You do have a question. Okay, great.
Yeah. I'd like to know how much longer I have to listen to my wife say I haven't seen it on Fox yet. Because
she had to pick Fox.
Yeah. She hasn't seen it on Fox yet. So I hear that all the time on Fox News. You know, I haven't seen it on Fox yet. I'm trying to tell her what's going on. And I've been married to her for 42 years. She ought to trust me a little bit, you know.
Well, congratulations on maintaining that for 42 years. That's no mean feat. Well done.
Heather's back. She's muted.
Heather, did you hear the question? The question was, how long something shows up on Fox News? And,
you know, I don't see, I see about as much hope of MSM as I do of banks and attorneys.
Can you say that again?
Can I can't hear Heather.
Yeah.
Can you now?
Yeah, can AK, can you mute? I think there's a lot of background noise where you are.
Yeah, I said that I have about as much hope for MSM as I do for banks and attorneys at this point.
I think the general gist of what's going on here is that we are all going to know from within. So do we need it on TV? Do we need Fox News? Do we need MSM to tell us what we?
I don't watch it, so I don't need it.
No. That's the gist of it.
My other question was how is she going to stay out of court? She said she'd never step in court again and she'd never step in a bank again. I was just wondering, how do you do that if they come to pick you up at the house?
I just asked the question. I'd be happy to comply as soon as they can show me who they are, what their authority is, and under what law they're operating under. They just don't do it because they know that I know.
Okay. I appreciate
and you're perfectly entitled to ask the same questions.
Well, I would. I just was curious because, got family to take care of and everything.
I totally get it. I totally understand. And during the investigations, believe me, I had firsthand personal experience of what all the people are going through to some degree. And, I was in court, but then again, I was still an officer of the court at the time. And yet at the same time, it is just a matter of asking the right questions. If they're going to ask the questions of you, you have the right to ask the questions of them. And if they can't produce the documents, you're not telling them who they be. You're asking, who do you be? And if they can't answer it, then they never could. You don't have to go anywhere. And they'd have to show you the law that shows where they can make you do what they want you to do against your consent. So it's just about knowing those simple questions and asking them.
Okay. I'll have to practice up my speech, I guess. Thank you all. I love you all.
Thank you very
much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
Diva, are you still with us? Are you able to unmute and come on out? Just through the Skype. You're still there.
She's still there, but I think she's sitting there going dag nabbit in the background because I don't think we can hear her.
No, we can't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do this. Talk about what we're all feeling is on its way. In fact, it's already in progress, and what the next couple of weeks might look like. Who wants to kick that one off?
Woo!
Brian wants to say something, I think.
Brian wants to giggle his way through.
I can hear the giggle.
Oh, man. Well, here's what I'll say. I'll say this. I'll say that I feel with every fiber of my being that we're coming to the tipping point that everybody has been waiting for. And what everybody wants, we've talked about it so many times, is they don't want money. They don't necessarily want a new car. Maybe some do. They want the freedom. They want freedom to do and be and travel and not feel shackled by the systems that have held all of us down for so long. So that's what we're coming up to, this point, this climax of absolute freedom. Absolute data, everybody wants to know, where is absolute data coming from? Take in for a second what absolute data means. I mean, absolute data is so much more than could possibly be shared on some news network or through some government or some president or some individual or some group. We're talking absolute data. There's only one place that can come from, and that's from within, and that's confusing a lot of people right now because they have suffering and fears, and they're getting hung up on their daily grind. So if you ask me where I think this is all going, is I think we're coming to the point of absolute freedom, and I think we're going to look back on these moments, and everyone's going to become a giggler just like me. And we're all just going to have this crazy party. It's going to be this giggle fest. And we're not even going to remember what it felt like to be in limited understanding of where we are right now, because we're going to understand so much more than we understand in this moment, that it's going to be hard for us to remember what it was like not to understand otherwise. Bring it on, baby.
I feel that energetically, at least, it's already happened. It's already happened. I was standing in the shower yesterday, which is, as a mother of three, about the only time I ever get any peace and quiet, and just sort of trying to be and really feel into where I was at it in relationship to this energy. And I feel like it's already, as a wave, it's already crested, and that I'm surfing it in now. And over the next couple of weeks will be when it reaches shore and really lands and really becomes visible. In fact, maybe even less than that. But energetically, it's already peaked. It's already happened. And we're just now starting to experience the manifestation of it.
As I said, the definition of abundance. To be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. So start thinking about what you want to do, because there's not going to be any limitations that are put on us for much longer in regards to going out and doing it.
And I want to say one thing as regard to absolute data and absolute truth. I use an illustration of a canipa, which is a fruit I found when I was down in Puerto Rico. And anybody who's been down there, you know what they are. There's this fruit. It grows on trees almost like a bunch of grapes, but they're a little bit larger. They have a skin on the outside like a orange skin, but thinner and brittle. And the fruit inside is peachy, really soft, kind of a mix between a real sweet peach, strawberry, and a smack of bubble gum. And
it's quite descriptive.
It's got a real hard hit around it. Now, no matter how much I describe this fruit to you, unless you've tasted, you'll never have absolute data on that fruit. You'll never know. You can only believe or understand what someone else's experience may have been in eating that fruit. And you may have an idea in your head. So when you ask for absolute data, absolute truth, there's only one way that you can know. And that means it's got to be internal.
I think Diva is actually otherwise occupied at the moment, but one of the bits of information she came to us last week was that the effects of absolute data are so profound that from our side of it, from this side of it, we can't even begin to speculate how profoundly this will change our perspective. And this is the thing that will break into Fox News, that will be undeniable to everybody, because it will come from within, because there's no delivery by someone else. There's no mechanism from the outside giving this information to you. It is going to be a knowing more than anything. So, bring it on.
Bring it on. Heather, is there anything you wanted to add in regards to what's going on energetically and how it may roll out in the next couple of weeks?
Well, you're right, Lisa. Everything has already happened and completed energetically. And that's the first part of manifestation. It happens energetically, and then it pulls down and manifests. So it is a done deal. It's locked in. As far as having no expectations, no limits, that is where all the creativity and fun part comes in not only the manifestation process, but in editing it and sculpting it and refining it. So I really just ask that everyone have an open heart, an open mind, don't have any expectations, and really enjoy now. Every moment of now.
Thank you. Okay, let's get on and take another call. We have, I think we've got Prince. Prince, is that you? Hello, Prince.
Hello.
Hello.
Not a clear connection.
Not a clear connection, man. You're not.
All right, can you hear me now? How's that?
A little bit better.
Even newly acquired, and calling in, man.
No.
Can
Sorry.
you hear me?
No, I'm getting half of every second word. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm using this new clear.
Okay, I'm sorry, Prince. I'm going to have to mute you, man. I heard that it was a new device. You may want to get another new device. I'm not sure.
We love you, though, man.
Okay, I've got area code 562. Area code 562? Nope, no. Hello? Yes, it's you. What was your name?
Trump.
Sorry, say that again?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just didn't catch your name. Okay. Moving on. Area code 507.
Ah, that's me.
Hello, me. What else can we call you?
That's me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What was your name, love?
My name is Jeanette from Iowa.
Hey, Jeanette from Iowa.
You're all doing a fantastic job. Keep up the good work. Real quick, the only thing that I need is the website with that document on, because it was cutting out when you were giving it. I have my notes, but I don't have the site.
You can get it from removing the shackles.
Okay.
You can also get it from
the actual site, Lisa, removingtheshackles.blogspot.com or americankabuki.blogspot.com. It's on both sites.
And then the title on it will say what?
Let's see. It says, here it is. OPPT, All is Eternal Essence Debt Release.
all is eternal. Thank you.
Thank
you
you
all.
Thanks, Jeanette.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, we have area code 267. Area code 267?
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, how are you? This
I'm
is
good,
Ahmed.
thank you.
Hey, Bob, how are you? Heather?
How you doing, Ahmed?
Hey, how are you? Yeah, I just had a question. You know, I sent the courtesy notice to FIA, Pennsylvania Higher Education. I addressed it to one of the vice presidents or whatever. And I was trying to see what will be my next action I should take. They sent me a letter in the mail. And could I briefly read to you real quick just certain little things that they said on there? All right. It just says, I strongly encourage you to seek competent legal counsel. And it says, it says that you should cease and desist all further legal action and continuing to present your course of conduct and to remit payments otherwise on the balance of your education loan. Okay. And, so I'm just had a question, since they sent this in response to the courtesy notice, and this was sent from one of their legal compliance service divisions,
Sure.
what do you think the next course of action should be?
Okay. Next course of action is to immediately invoice them, and if you want to, put in a covering letter saying that you recommend they seek competent legal counsel, because they obviously have no idea that UCC law applies to all corporations on the planet,
right,
and that they should cease and desist their actions against you for the reasons stated in the courtesy notice. And just let them know that you will continue to invoice them personally for as long as they continue to make unlawful claims of you.
Okay.
Okay, because you've got to remember, all debt is fraud. All debt is fraud. And you're in the right here, and we're on your side too.
Okay.
And soon it will be irrelevant.
Okay.
Exactly.
Great.
But in the meantime, we still keep doing. We keep doing.
Okay, so just invoice them. Okay. All right.
Now, there's an FAQ. There's an FAQ document on the OPPT website in the same place as you download the courtesy notices from. Take a look at it. That'll give you probably some extra bits of approach as well.
Okay. Great.
Very good. Thanks for your call.
Hey,
thank you.
Real quick, before we bring on the next call, there's a guy that from Israel who's really looking to hook up with some more people out in Israel. He said he doesn't mind me sharing his email address online. He's been being very persistent in me sharing it, and his name is Gil. And his email address, if you're out in Israel and you want to connect with Gil Mandel, GILMANDEL @gmail.com. There you go, Gil. Moving on. Next call.
Thank you. Okay, area code 817.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey, name's Emmanuel.
Hey, Emmanuel.
Hi. Want to say thank you all for all your efforts, and I want to thank all the callers and everyone who's going to hear this tomorrow on YouTube and everywhere else. Thank you. And also, happy birthday, Sarah. Hope you're not wing slapping anybody unless they deserve it. Okay, I just wanted to get like a little update from Heather, because I know you guys just said that there's going to be some pretty, fairly big news coming out very soon, within the next week. What exactly does that entail? What are the next steps here for you guys, or for you, Heather? You worked on this document, I think, the verbiage for it. So what will be, coming, down the line this next week, more or less?
I think it'd be probably easier to say what's not coming down the line in a couple of weeks. Essentially you have the framework. So no longer do we have to worry about the powers that were, the wizards behind the curtain or anything like that. Just keep being and doing. Just keep being due. They can't steal it. Okay? You're using it, they can't take it. That's one. Two is that there will be disclosures happening.
Nice.
There will be disclosures of all kinds and absolute data. And that's about as structurally limiting as I'd like to get with the explanations on it. And that way you can all just create what it is you want, because that's what they're watching. For the disclosures, they're actually able to see exactly what you're imagining, exactly if they're in your consciousness or not. Because just as you feel uncomfortable in some situation that you aren't familiar with, so are they. They want to make sure that this is something that we all desire and all want. You just set that high frequency, that high vibration, and that's all that is allowed to enter. Nothing can harm you in this moment. Nothing.
Awesome. Beautiful. I love how you speak, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Lisa, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm talking away and I'm muted.
Muted, yes.
Yeah, talking away. I think we've only got a couple of minutes left, so we've addressed as many callers as we can for the moment. Just a recap. The optin.com website is being rebuilt in the background and will go live, I believe, this week. Same domain name, you don't have to go anywhere else, but it'll be a whole new website with a whole new look and a lot more information. And go back and, if you haven't seen it yet, go and read that filing. And if you're still finding yourself asking yourself the question or making the statements over and over again, yeah, but show me the money. This filing had to happen first. We are in the midst of absolute change. And having access to value is not going to look like what it's always looked like in the past. And no one here is going to tell you what it looks like, because we don't know either. Because we're making this up as we go along, all of us. We've never been here before. We're in new territory. And what Heather certainly got, and what I completely agree with and get too, is that for the last couple of thousand years, it's been working on a series and a system of fiction. That is what they know how to use. That's what they know how to manipulate. That's what they know how to control. And anything we do moving forward from this point on cannot, should not, and will not involve fiction and systems of fiction and systems of representation. Because all we would be doing at that point is giving them a whole other playbook to play us with. And Oh, that Blog Talk woman keeps interrupting me.
And everything else is irrelevant.
And everything else is irrelevant. So, yes, there are still games being played. And yet, yes, no, but not everybody in the system knows what's going on yet. But that doesn't mean But that doesn't mean that energetically they're not a part of this, and then they're starting to feel this stuff too. And I've heard stories of people who have had a conversation with a cop yesterday, and they tried having that same conversation with a cop 2 weeks ago and got a very different response. 2 weeks ago, he was aggressive and didn't want to hear about it. Yesterday, he's suddenly open to having a dialogue. So even those within the system are feeling this and they're experiencing it, and they know something's amiss, whether their hierarchy's telling them officially or not. Okay, we've got a few seconds to go. I just want to thank everybody again, for whether you've called in, whether you're in the chat room, whether you're just listening, whether you're going to listen, everybody on the panel, Heather, Caleb, Randall, anybody to do with the documents, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. All the people in the chat room, we love you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Yes. Good night, everyone.
Have an awesome night, everyone.
And we'll see you tomorrow on the Collective Imagination, where we will talk more about the energy that's happening.
Namaste.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Ciao, ciao.